Everybody has a story to tell. I'm Pastor Jennifer Moore from Keep It Real, a program designed for the individuals out there who are facing challenges in life, real issues that are burdening them. Keep It Real is designed to inspire the individual who have gone through troubles, turmoils, and wondering where God is in their situation. Keep It Real is there to inspire you, because we know that you're facing real issues, real challenges, but at the end there is hope. There's hope because once you've gone through the fire, once you've gone through the furnace, you'll know that your Redeemer lives and that there's hope in Jesus Christ. Keep It Real is designed for those out there who feel at this present in time there's no one in their situation. They're in a wilderness situation, wondering where God is. But Keep It Real will show you that others have gone through the fires, others have gone through the tests, and they're able now to come and speak to you about their life-changing situation, their faith journey, and how they too were wondering where God was in their situation. But now, although they were in a mess, the Messiah came through to them. They're able to testify that their Redeemer lives. Welcome once again to Keep It Real. I'm Pastor Jennifer Moore, introducing you to real people with real issues. People that have had a wonderful walk, challenging walk on their Christian journey. Today, we're meeting someone that is so special to my heart, a person that has dedicated a great deal of their life towards the Christian journey. It is no means fate to say that this woman of God truly loves God. She has given her life endlessly, an endless task to meeting the challenge and taking up the mantle of the Christian journey. I want you to give her a wonderful round of applause. You there in Settee Land, I just want you just to sit still, don't move and just listen to her story. She has a remarkable story, a story that will inspire us, a story that will let us feel so humble to be in her presence. So without further ado, I just want to welcome Reverend Emerald Stevenson. Emerald Stevenson is a jewel in the Christian kingdom, a jewel in this Christian kingdom. Reverend, tell me something about yourself and what made you decide to take up the mantle and go into ministry?
I think it's not just taking up the mantle, it's something that the Lord laid upon me. It is where the Lord led me. Long before I became a pastor, I worked quite intensively in the youth department. I worked tirelessly in my church. But I had been a nurse all my life, qualified all my life. And it was one day that I was on duty that the Lord spoke to me. It was very, I knew it was God because I heard it. And what I heard was to inspire me to go to, may sound funny to some people, but to the toilet. And I needed to get to the toilet and I needed to pray. I needed to hear what God was saying to me as a young woman. And so I went to the toilet and I heard his audible voice say to me, leave work, go to the shops. In those days, there was a shop that was selling a lot of cheap stuff. I hope I can say the name, but it was Quick Save. And I left work and I went there, and God literally led me to buy loaves of bread and little jars of paste. And the Lord said to me to take it home and make sandwiches. I took it home and I made these sandwiches not knowing where it was going. I made it expecting a knock on my door for somebody who probably was hungry or something I had to give this to. I never really questioned God about it, but I just went straight on and did it by faith, knowing that God will take control. And so I made it, and I had it in these little biscuit tins. And I sat in my house, and I sat there singing and praying and praising the Lord. And it was beginning to get very, very dark. And nobody knocked my door. Nobody rang my phone. Nobody said anything to me. But I was sitting there, and I found myself in the presence of the Lord. And the Lord then said to me to get up, take those sandwiches, fill my flask. I had 2 flasks at those days. Fill my flask with hot water and get in my car and drive. Now, at that time, I used to live in Catford. And I did not know where I was going with this. I did not get where to go. So I thought, okay, my church is in Brixton. So I will travel from Catford to Brixton, and then the Lord will lead me where else to go. I remember getting in the car. I remember putting the flask and the tin of sandwiches, some sugar and milk in my car in a bag. I remember putting it in the car, and I remember driving from Catford up Stansted Road into Forest Hill. I remember seeing Horniman's Museum. And I was driving. I had nobody else with me in the car, but I knew and I felt the presence of the Lord. I remember seeing Horniman's. I remember meeting the hill of Horniman's Museum. And miraculously, I remembered nothing else until I was on the bridge over Vauxhall Bridge with the Thames on either side. And it's like I came to myself, and I said to the Lord, Lord, where am I going? I passed Brixton completely. And the Lord said to me, drive. And I drove until I got into Victoria. And in those days, there was a cinema there showing Starlight Express. And the Lord told me, stop, park the car, take the things, and walk. I did just that. And I remember walking around the cinema Starlight Express. And I remember heading back ways. And as I got there, I saw a man at a shop door. And he was begging for money. And I said to him, I haven't got any money, but I can give you a sandwich and something to eat and drink. And he took it from me. And I still had the passion to walk. And I walked, and as I was going further into the darkness, I heard a young woman says, thank you, ma'am, you have something to eat in those tins. And I went over to her, and I gave her the thing to drink. And my walk that night took me all the way through St. James's Park until I came into the Strand. As I came into the Strand, I got to McDonald's by the train station, I think it is now. But while walking, I saw a young man digging in the bin outside McDonald's. And I went to him and I said, why are you digging in the bin? And he said to me, I'm looking for something to eat. I'm looking for one of these containers that people eat their burgers, close it in, but the crust is left. And I turned to him and I said, you don't have to dig there anymore. If you sit down, I will give you something.
Wow.
And that night, all alone, I walked all the way up the Strand. I found myself going down behind the hotels because people told me that there were people down there that needed. And that started a work that I promised the Lord. As long as He help me, give me breath, give me, I will do it. And I know that if it is His will, it will stand the test of time.
Homeless people are some of the most vulnerable and socially excluded people in society. How were you able to relate to them? You know, because when somebody have lost their home, a lot of issues will follow. You know, bitterness, anxiety, anger. I know you go out tirelessly every Monday, you know, in Croydon is where you're ministering at the moment. But during the years, have you found a different type of people that are now homeless?
Okay, as I said before, I did not start in Croydon. That initially started up the West End. I started going up the Strand, as I said earlier. And as I worked tirelessly up the Strand, it wasn't on a Monday.
Yeah.
I used to go on a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Because Wednesday I had things at my church. And I found that in those days, I know people have this notion that homeless people are, they want to be on the street, they want to be homeless. They don't, you don't need to help them, you don't need to do anything for them. And I often tell people like this, go back to my mentor, the Holy Spirit, my mentor, the Lord.
Okay.
What would Jesus have done? And I found that with the people that are on the streets, I quite agree that there are some of them that need not be on the streets according to some people, in some people's eyes. But we have to reach the lost at any cost.
Yeah.
And we have to reach those less fortunate than ourselves. I cannot tell who is homeless and who isn't homeless.
Right.
I can only do what the Lord gave me to do, and that is to reach out an extended hand.
Right.
And so I do not discriminate. But when you go to the streets day after day, week after week,
right,
you become a little more settled in their presence. They begin to accept you a little more,
right,
because they trusted you and they realize that you are not there to exploit them, you are not there to harm them, but you are there to help them.
right,
because you give it to them and you speak to them of who sent you. I did not go on myself, but as the Lord ordered my steps. And you begin to form this relationship with the homeless.
Yes.
The homeless people on the streets in those days varied a lot in color, creed, race. And what you found is that as you begin to get more relaxed with them and they begin to associate with you, they open up a little more to you. And by opening up, you find that you have people on the streets that are coming from prestigious backgrounds.
Right.
You have people that are coming from educated families. You have people that are coming from wealthy homes. But circumstances cause this. We have reached a stage now where we have this recession.
Right.
And when I look back 28 years ago to now, the tide has turned so much that if you go to sit with the people on the street now and really find out where they are at, where they're coming from, it will make you realize that there go I, but for the grace of God.
Yes. And I tend to think homelessness tend to damage people resilient, their self-esteem and their self-confidence. They're in a position where they go high by the grace of God where they don't want to be. And people tend to look down on them. And you're out there trying to build confidence, bringing them back into society. How do you go about that?
We have worked tirelessly with various agencies. So I have worked tirelessly with various agencies. And what I've tried over the years to do, and I must say that it could make you despondent. It could make you give up. And if I be real, because we live in a real world with real people.
Yes, that's right.
And if I be honest with you, there are many times when I try to get help from the government, when I try to get help from other agencies, when I try to get help from, people that give to charities, I always get a backlash.
Yes.
For whatever reason, I just cannot penetrate people to understand that the homeless people need help.
Yes. And I know for a fact, especially, during different seasons, you literally go into your own pockets.
That's right.
And, wonderfully provide for them, clothes, not only just food, clothes, and a good sense of direction. You minister to them. And sometimes I watch you, how you minister tirelessly. And I really admire you, wondering, where do you get that energy to minister?
Everybody has a story to tell. I'm Pastor Jennifer Moore from Keep It Real, a program designed for the individuals out there who are facing challenges in life, real issues that are burdening them. Keep It Real is designed to inspire the individual who have gone through troubles, turmoils, and wondering where God is in their situation. Keep It Real is there to inspire you, because we know that you're facing real issues, real challenges. But at the end, there is hope. There's hope because once you've gone through the fire, once you've gone through the furnace, you'll know that your Redeemer lives and that there's hope in Jesus Christ. Keep It Real is designed for those out there who feel at this present in time there's no one in their situation. They're in a wilderness situation, wondering where God is. But Keep It Real will show you that others have gone through the fires, others have gone through the tests, and they're able now to come and speak to you about their life-changing situation, their faith journey, and how they too were wondering where God was in their situation. But now, although they were in a mess, the Messiah came through to them. They're able to testify that their Redeemer lives.
Hello, my name is Reverend Emerald Stevenson. I'm the senior pastor of the Rapture Ministries Church of the Open Bible. We are situated at 194 Selhurst Road, South Norwood. I have been working as a minister for nearly 27 years now, and most of my work takes part with the youth. I concentrate a lot as well on the homeless ministry, because during the homeless ministry there's a lot of young people, there's a lot of youth that I find vulnerable on the streets of London. And so my passion is just that. My whole desire is that there will be somebody out there that will feel the passion that I have, will realize what I've been trying to do for the past 27, 28 years, and come and join me as we win the lost for Christ at any cost.
That energy, you see, for me, if God gives you a gift, if God is sending you something, He provides.
Yeah.
And the provision includes strength. It includes perseverance. It includes faith.
Yeah.
It includes everything that we can think about. I have given out of my own pocket from day one.
Yes, yes.
Because I have never been able to get people to catch this vision and to catch the passion that I have. And I am sure that there are many people out there with the same passion. But there are more organizations. I believe that I have also tried to get some sort of means whereby I can make these people, as you said, don't feel ridiculed, don't feel, but feel that I can be a part of society.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I have tried endlessly to do, or tirelessly to do, is to have some sort of establishment, some sort of massive building somewhere,
Yes, yeah.
where we can bring them off the street. First of all, I tried to get transportation. I tried to get a double-decker bus when all those old buses were going out. I tried, among all the bus stations, I've tried my very best to get one of these old buses that's go off, so that I can transform this bus into something that bringing them off the street and feeding them in some way, so that they don't feel that I have to be fed on the street. Bringing them in a bus, it lifts them, I hope, a little more, that God has provided somewhere that they can sit and eat or sit and drink in the presence of somebody else and make them a little more relaxed. That failed year in, year out. I've felt that if I can get somewhere that, I don't know, a big warehouse, a big building, a big something, where we can have not crisis for over Christmas and New Year, but we have what crisis does, what these people do 365 years. You may say to me, if I do that, how do I know the people that I'm bringing in is homeless? No, I don't know.
Yes.
But what I do know is that if I can get this bus, if I can get this coach, if I can get this building, if there is somebody who can catch what I have gone through and the passion that I have for 28 years for people, because I do not know where I'm going to end up.
Right.
I tell you something, that I have had interviews with people in the media. I have spoken to people on the streets, and it will blow your mind to know that I am feeding people on the street that is highly educated, people that's got master's degrees, people who's got degrees, people who's been living in homes. But because of the circumstances, you end up in this vicious circle.
And it's not gender-based, is it?
It's not gender-based. And it's sad to say that there are young people, young children who are more vulnerable because they are mixing with people of older age who can exploit them on the street. This is where we have to come in. This is where the gospel is. This is what Christ will do. He will go out and he will meet you at your lowest low, at your point of need. And that is where the Lord has sent me. And it is my heart's desire. I hope before God takes me home that I am able to see this accomplished. I am able to see that people can come in and know it is God who is drawing them out of, and even is to give them their basic needs.
Yeah, but what about the hidden homeless, homeless people? The people that are sleeping on somebody's sofas, or in a bread and breakfast, that they're not classified as homeless because they're not on the street, but yet, because they haven't got their own roof over their heads, you know, their own little space, their own private space, they're still homeless. How do you help them along to rebuild their self-esteem, to say that they can pull themselves up, you know, from sleeping on that sofa, they can get themselves back on track?
Okay, there are two types of people here. When you look at the homeless, there are two types of people. You have the people that, try as you may, they're not going to get off the streets. Their life is on the streets. They are willing to die on the street. Whether it's a progression of time, they will go, they will get their cardboards, and they will make their beds in shop windows or things like that. You have the people that's on the streets that do not want to be homeless. They will try everything they can not to be homeless. Now you look at the people that's sleeping on the sofas. You look at the people that probably has got in one of these bed and breakfast places. Now, the bed and breakfast places are not free. So they may have a little money, but remember they've got to pay to sleep in that place at night. They have to pay for leaving there and going out to find employment, to find something to do. What gets the bashing, what gets left behind is food.
And I was going to come to that because now the winter months are closing in. What are going to be your challenges, you know, with these people?
My challenges with these people is what I said from day one. I would love to be able to get these people off the streets into an environment where basic living is every day. That they can have that, and then they can go and they can look for something and begin to climb the ladder. This is where my big building comes in. Because it is one vision I have, is one desire that I have, is to provide for these people, not bed and breakfast, but for somewhere, a home that will take them from here into somewhere and make them citizens of this country. Not to just feed them and send them back on the street. If we have this environment, there are a lot of projects that's out there that could be rekindled. Carpentry, all these things could be rekindled. You can bring all these things in, providing you have the building, you have the thing for it. There is people out there that is willing to work, is willing to take up some sort of project,
Yes.
some sort of thing to bring them back, to use their skills,
Giving them back
to
sense
give
of
them
pride.
back. And it is a
Yeah.
platform
Yeah,
that we can use to help people back into society
But
independently.
The cost of all that, and I know that every Monday you're out there with the food, astronomical costs, which I know you're bearing from your own pocket. And it's just refreshing to know that when you travel out, you're not thinking of yourself, you know, that you're from Trinidad. You become a native, everything to the people that you're ministering to. And that your heart to say that you're not from Africa, but you want to set up orphanages, homeless shelters there. And you go in with the passion that you're doing it here in England. And I think that's really awesome. And that just shows me that you have a love for people, a love for the individual, a love for a community spirit. And your passion is something to be admired. You know?
I think with me, it's, I love people, but I also love unity. And